Welcome. Hello. It's time for Block Talk. We are on Bitcoin block 461,930. Yeah, moving along pretty good. We had a little bit of a bump up here in the mem pool. And you know what? It's around the 15th, a payday just before the long weekend. There's got to be some traffic. So that's kind of working its way out now. But you remember, guys, you got to use the high fees around the 1st and the 15th. People think I'm crazy, but I keep seeing a correlation there. Bitcoin is a remittance tool after all. All right, so our sponsors, Bittrex, they're one of the best exchanges around. Actually, I think they are the best exchange around. I mean, Bill and Richie, yeah, those guys are legit. And they got a lot of really cool Ether projects on the listed on the site now. And there are some Ether pairings. They don't get a lot of volume, so maybe you guys can help that. And there's even some fiat pairings if you'd like to hold some USD. Or maybe even some Chinese yuan. Anyways, our other sponsor is GPU Source. So if you want to get into mining and you want something that's turnkey easy, these guys are developing some awesome solutions that are rack-mounted servers, and you can do remote access. It's going to be legit. So their pre-orders are going to be going out shortly. If you guys want to, get in on the special deals, you got to subscribe to the updates, and they'll kind of blast it out as needed. As usual, the YouTube chat is live if you have any questions. And Josh Feiner is already there, so props to that. And I am your intrepid host, Alex. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to have on the man, the legend, Mr. Green. Griff, how you doing, dude?
Fantastically, man. Life is good.
Yeah, it's been going good. I think it was 11 months ago that we had you on, and the DAO had just raised about 30 million, and was going strong.
Yeah. Those are the good days.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm sure there was contemplations of maybe there should have been a cap on this.
At the time I didn't think having too much money in that contract would be a bad thing, but I'm not a security expert. I feel like I am now. I mean, I still have like PTSDAO like going on every day. Every time I see a call function, I'm like, whoa. Hey, calm down.
Well, it was a very good learning experience overall, I think. And you know what, like I invested some too, and I was, upset with the outcome, but at the same time, in the long run, I'm happy that the mistakes were made and we learned from them. And I don't think anyone who participated really feels burned about it.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, everyone's getting their money back, plus bonus ETC, so it all works out.
Yeah. Now there's like a nice redundant network in case there's problems with Ether. You guys already have like a backup network with the Classic.
Yeah, exactly. We're ready to go. I hope that we never have to use that. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. No, and overall, like I met guys who are not really involved in the crypto space. They bought in and like they had put maybe like $1,000 into Ethereum crowd sale, and then they find out that they have well over that now, multiple more figures, and then they buy the DAO, and then I talked to him later. I'm like, yeah, like you had DAO and Ether, so now you have you have even more money. It's like I got like 20 grand free money. This is great. So,
yeah.
And that's why I don't think anyone was too upset. Like, and the main reason I think I invested was after our conversations, Griff, I really felt that you were a great supporter of the project, and I understand it wasn't just you involved, but I knew whatever would have happened, you would do right by the holders, and that's really I think the lesson that we need to learn in the altcoin space is like you got to invest in the good people. If you invest in good people, like you're never poor.
Thanks, man. That's really nice of you to say. I will say I have been spending pretty much every day I help somebody get their money out of the DAO. I've been kind of leading the charge of the cleanup, and there's a lot to clean up. So, and it just gets so complicated, like there's the obvious ones, the extra balance, and the ETC, the White Hat Group, and all that. But then there's the people that sent their DAO tokens to the DAO, And of course, they didn't send it from their own address that they own. They sent it from an exchange. So I have to coordinate with the curators, because I'm a curator now. Lucky me. I have to coordinate with the curators. I have to coordinate with this guy. I have to coordinate with the exchange. and we have to do this little game where we send a transaction to them. But so far, I mean, anyone who touched the DAO and has tried at all to contact me about getting their money back has been successful as long as they have their keys. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure Bittrex is loving the fact that they get support tickets about it.
Yeah, I actually have to like double check with those guys. I was supposed to meet up with them, but they're globetrotting around, you know, mostly in the US. So.
Well, and I recall from our last conversation, not the first one, but the second one, just before the fork happened, I gave Richie a little bit of advice about maybe you should realize that another network may be possible out of this. You guys should run a separate node of some sort.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give him the gears about it too. Like I think we all had a part to play in this whole mess. But no, it was a fun time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Oh my God, so exciting, and we all learned so much. You know, I mean, I feel like it brought the whole crypto community forward in understanding of what the hell is going on.
Mm-hmm. And it really, I think, brings a lot more attention to not just like Ethereum. I think it's more like the EVM now. Like now there's multiple networks, so we can understand how the EVM is now, you know, a standard that is on several different chains.
Yeah, it's really interesting because my new project Giveth kind of reaches out to a lot of people that aren't in the crypto scene, and so they end up asking me, well, what about Bitcoin? Like, isn't that a better network or something? I heard they're going to be able to run smart contracts and stuff like that. Will your stuff work? And it's always like, yeah, of course, because everyone's using the EVM. Rootstock is just going to take all the Solidity contracts you write for Ethereum will work on the EVM. And what I love about the Ethereum community is, for the most part, they're more focused on the technology. It's obviously it's hard to be mad at you know, Ether being $50. But the real hardcore guys that are still working and haven't just retired because they're millionaires, they're still working hard on the revolution. And the revolution is about the code and decentralization. It has nothing to do with the price of Ether.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned about with upgrading our network to being EVM compatible. It's like I don't think there was such a thing as an Ethereum maximalist. I think a lot of Ethereum people are very open to the idea of more networks and more EVMs.
Yeah, and those Bitcoin maximalists better get you know, used to it, because we were talking a little bit off the air, but we are so young in this world. I like to think that Bitcoin is kind of like Henry Ford's first car, and something tells me it didn't get Henry very far. You know, it's like, oh, that rhymes. Oh, that was good. I'm going to use that again.
Well, I joke around that the Ethereum is kind of like if SpaceX had a trading stock. You know, occasionally there's going to be a rocket that blows up, but overall, like you're going to get to the moon.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that the Dow rocket blew up and almost no one really got hurt. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think as long as no one really lost money, then you know, I mean, it will be fine in the long run. But yeah, you guys have to wear that scar on your sleeve, you know.
Yeah, and I say that, and of course, I feel bad for the people that were speculating on the token and sold when it was like under half of its value. I mean, that sucks. But when they sold at half its value, someone else bought at half its value and made that profit. Because trading is kind of a zero-sum game when it comes to DAO tokens.
Yeah, you got to be buying when they're crying.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to do. Easy to say. That buy low, sell high sounds so easy, right?
Well, and it's the same thing happened with Bitfinex and their little solution with having a token. Like people sold at 30 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
Well, someone else used that as free money, you know, like in the long run, it could easily work out. And yeah, just with regards to maximalists and, you know, Bitcoin should be the only blockchain. It's like, I don't think the ideal vision of a decentralized future means that there's one blockchain. I think there's going to be multitudes of blockchains.
Oh, yeah. I think so too. I mean, I really feel like that these blockchains and these currencies are yeah, I mean, if you look at currencies in general, they are about the community behind them. You know, the US dollar is supported by the US government and the people in the US. And you know, the euro is supported by the people in the European Union. And Zimbabwe is supported by the people in Zimbabwe. Of course, there's all this other capital controls and the manipulation of the currencies that are really important and, you know, manipulate the market value. But if that's kind of taken out, which is what the cryptocurrency scene is all about, taking that power away from humans and letting having a predictable supply increase, then it's all about the communities that are working on that chain. And that's what makes Ether so valuable. You have all these really smart people doing crazy things all the time. I mean, there's so many cool projects out there. You can't even keep it straight, So that is what brings so much value to this network. And if you don't, and people are going to like stick with their own coin. The Dash community is going to stay that Dash is my currency, and they're just going to hold it, and they're going to like use it amongst themselves. And that's kind of like, if you like the Dash community and you think that they're going to make something really awesome, then you buy their token and you hang out with that community. And if that community thrives, your token will go up in value.
Yeah, the true value is not with the token itself, but with the people that hold it.
Yeah, and believe in it.
So you mentioned Giveth earlier. That's your new project, I guess. Can you explain more what Giveth is and give us kind of a rundown of what you're doing?
Sure. Giveth is a very creative name. It's give F, right? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give F. So actually, I'm wearing this awesome shirt. I should have worn my Giveth shirt now that I think about it. But Unsung is a really cool charity, right? They're trying to use like distribution of food to make it easy to send excess food from a restaurant to random people, and just building a network of people that want to deliver the food. Finding a way to effectively distribute resources amongst everyone around. And I really love their project. They have very little to do with blockchain, and that's okay. But they accept, of course, blockchain donations. It's by the same guy with that did was it Satoshi's Forest or whatever. What was the name of his? Sean's Outpost. So what Giveth hopes to allow these people that are doing things like Unsung or other charitable organizations to effectively join forces and share resources in a decentralized manner. So we're building these things that we like to call decentralized charitable organizations. This was kind of inspired by the DAO, of course. I mean, the rest of my life will be inspired by the DAO, so there's no way around that. But I always kind of thought the DAO being a for-profit thing was kind of weird. I think I even mentioned it in our first interview. I didn't even like making analogies with it. I like the idea of a non-profit DAO, and it's just supposed to be software that helps people work together and decentralizes a lot of the governance. So with Giveth, we're trying to decentralize charity. So in any charity, you have kind of the edges are people who want to send money and people who want to use that money to do good work. And in between, I would ideally have nothing but code, right? But in the real world, you do need help distributing resources. Like how do you distribute resources from a donor to a normal charity? Like there's got to be a good way to go about it. Some people are going to make better decisions than others. And so in the middle, we do have some people, and we are hoping to do kind of a liquid democracy approach. But in general, we're just trying to, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just adding a bunch of blockchain code to make charities work more effectively and make transparency and accountability the default. So one of the big things that I like to talk about when it comes to charities is that the incentive structure is kind of funny. If let's say that
it's really subjective. Right?
Yeah, well,
it's really subjective. Yeah,
it's subjective, but also it's working against itself. If your goal is to cure cancer and you make $1 billion charity with 10,000 people that are working towards this goal, and you actually cured cancer, you would have to lay off 10,000 people. Like that's just a broken incentive structure. And in the end, if you're the CEO, you might make some interesting decisions about which projects you're going to fund and whether or not you're going to go wholeheartedly toward curing cancer. I mean, I know that they do. I believe. I mean, there's so many good people working in the charitable system, but sometimes, if the system isn't set up for you, humans have this magical power of just gaming the system whenever they can. So it's probably better to reward people for their good work instead of, giving them money and hoping that they do good work.
Yeah, well, I see a lot of people always want to do like complete replacements for a lot of these systems, but it's not like these are perfect solutions. Like these are better solutions.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of realize what the faults are in the system when, you know, it's upgraded to that. But overall, I think it's more capable of improving even faster and being closer to perfect than like your traditional system. Because like right now, whenever I feel sorry for any 1-800 numbers that call me, because now if I have free time, I usually shoot the shit with them. Like Red Cross called me the other day, so I'm like, okay, well, if I give you $100, what is all going to the effort you're telling me? Because if I'm spending $5 for you to get a new water cooler in the office, I want to know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Giveth might have a problem. It might be too donor focused, to be honest. Because what we want to do is we want to make sure that you know exactly where your money is goes, like 100%. So like, let's say that like what's a charity you'd like to donate to, or a charitable?
I really like Planned Canada, because I do gifts of hope where I can send like goats to a family in Africa or something, like, you know, drop little bits of agriculture all around the world.
Oh, very cool. So it's like it's trying to encourage more sustainable agriculture. Is that what?
Yeah. Like rather than, you know, giving, you know, $500 and them doing whatever they want with it, you pay, you know, like for like a $500 cow, and then that's given to a farmer who can then, you know, make milk off of it. So like, or if I buy, you know, 6 chickens, they now have eggs that they can sell. So in that way, it's not like I'm just giving them, you know, I'm teaching them how to fish rather than fishing for them.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, you're killing my punchline, because that's exactly what I was going to try to throw into. But it's like, if you want to support, you know, agricultural people in the agriculture of Africa, you know, you could actually just tag it with like, here's 10 Ether for, you know, agriculture in Africa. And then that will go to this, like, kind of like its own little DAO, right? And that DAO is going to have a bunch of delegates who kind of control that money. And the money doesn't go to them, of course, but they get to pick the projects that receive the money. And so you'll be assigned a delegate, and when he actually spends your money, that'll be tracked on the blockchain completely, and you'll get an email that says, hey, in 2 days, your money is going to fund 6 chickens in Ethiopia to this guy. And there'll be like a little picture. And ideally, we're going to have a link to the chat. And there's going to be a chat infrastructure that's on top of the blockchain model, where you can go chat directly with that guy in Ethiopia and be like, hey man, I really love free range chickens. How are you gonna put, he's like, yeah man, actually I keep them in this cage, and he takes a picture and it's like all these chickens smashed together, you know, and like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't think I want to donate to this guy. So, you know, you had 2 days to kind of like bail out, and you could be like, yeah, I want a different delegate, or I don't want that project, and you could become your own delegate and decide exactly what project your money goes to, or you could be, you know, just find a different guy who's donating a cow to some hippie lady, you know, in Alabama, and you're like, okay, cool.
I love the idea of communication and linking, because like when I usually give these gifts on behalf of my dad, because he doesn't like he's got enough, you know, whatever he needs, but he loves the idea of spreading agriculture around the world, and he wanted to know the story of the cow that got donated, and he wanted to be able to see it one day, or at least see what he was doing with it, because like we had a guy come last spring from Africa to see how we plant and deal with corn, and he's like, this is amazing, like farming, and really is like the original open source technology. So I think it's important that we share our skills and what we've learned, and because we all benefit from food being more efficient, so why the heck wouldn't we share it? Like, it's not a competitive thing, it's just an overall efficiency thing. Yeah,
and I think that's what we're moving towards in every industry all around. I mean, I feel like open source tech is really taking over. There seems to be like some resistance to it, because people want to make money off their ideas, but we got to get over that. You know, ideas need to be free, and that, you know, your time is scarce, and you should definitely get paid for your time. But owning ideas, I think, is really slowing us down.
They need to get over the concept of like a patent being not for, you know, protecting your investment, but for being validated and getting credit. Like, because if I have $1 million idea, like the one business I work with now has like some crazy vision system for robots, and they're worried about as soon as we install it in the plant, somebody's going to take the code and start building more of them in the plant. Like, that sounds fine to me. It's just you guys should get credit for that, because that validates your technology. If it goes in every plant after that, people are still going to want to work with you, the original creator, because they know you have the team to develop and build the idea.
Yeah, you're the experts on it. You know, no one's going to understand that as much as you. I mean, and that's one thing I learned a lot with ETC. Like, don't get me wrong. I know there's lots of qualified, like, powerful developers that are working on ETC, but they don't have any of the guys that were, like, really working on this code from bare bones and built it to where it is today. You know, all those guys are still with Ethereum, and they are not doing it. It's really hard to keep up with all the momentum that Ethereum has when you decide to do any kind of change. All of a sudden, you lose all of that upstream knowledge. And even before they did any breaking changes, they couldn't keep up with pulling from the Ethereum code base. So
Yeah,
and it's the same idea with Bitcoin, right? Oh, well, anything an altcoin does, we'll just import it for us. It's like, okay, well, good luck with that.
Sure. Yeah. It's like now Litecoin is even pulling ahead. So it's going to be hard to keep up with Litecoin, I think. That was the joke we were hearing from Charlie Lee on Twitter. It was like, it's like, oh yeah, like if Litecoin upgrades, then it no longer can, just port all its changes over from Bitcoin. Like, it's now more advanced than Bitcoin is. I'm like, okay, so is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
He is doing a great job at pumping Litecoin right now. I have to say, like, it's like beautiful what he's doing on Twitter. Like that little exchange with Brian Armstrong about, like, so is it time, it's got a lot of volume, are we adding it to Coinbase?
He did the same. He did the same thing with Decred, and it was very, very funny. And I think, it's good that, like, he can validate projects like that, because he is a smart guy and he doesn't, pump shit. Like, he understands the value and the size of the network at what point it's in. Because
have you been following Decred at all? I haven't learned much about it.
They'll probably be on the show in 2 weeks. I had the founder on earlier, but it's a really good hybrid model, like proof of work and proof of stake. I think that where it gets everyone included in the voting process for a hard fork, which is super important. Like, that's the problem we're having with Bitcoin right now, is that not everyone has a vote.
Yeah, only the miners, which is tough. Although we'll see. Apparently, this user-activated soft fork thing it's a thing. So, I mean, to me, that will only work if it's still kind of a unanimous thing. You need all the major nodes to agree with it and pull everyone. If Bitfinex says nah, it's going to be really hard. So
I think it's a lot of the guys, they're trying to figure out how everyone can flex their muscles, because obviously no one wants to try and lift the load on their own, but they're all like, like we got part of this too. Like the users can fork the network as well.
Of course. This is the magical thing. This is the magical thing about cryptocurrencies. Anyone can fork the network at any time if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Creating your own blockchain is really easy. In fact, you can do it accidentally.
Yeah. Unlimited did that for a second.
Oh yeah, for just a hot second. So you're working closely with the Swarm City guys. We had them on 2-3 weeks ago, and they were raving about your token technology that you're building. Can you talk a little bit about? Yeah, like, what's this mini me? How is it better than the standard token contract?
Oh man, well, let me just say, Jordi Bellina is a goddamn genius. Okay, this guy has got decentralization just like oozing out of his pores. He made this mini-me contract, which, I'm number 2 on the commits, so I'll take that. But they're just comments. That's all I can add. So and maybe write a good blog post. But he's writing there's 2 good, really amazing contracts that I want to talk about that Giveth has put out, and we're upgrading our vault a little bit, which I could talk about. But the mini-me contract is a clonable token. Mini-me, the most famous clone there is, I think. It's what's really powerful about it is its ability to decentralize and upgrade any dApp in a permissionless way. So let's say you create some dApp with mini-me token, and there's a problem. Well, it's really easy to fix, because you can literally just push a button, give everyone new tokens, fix the bug in the token contract that those new tokens are attached to, and continue on. And it's like a 1-button fix. Whereas like Hacker Gold, it took them a week to fix that little bug in their contract, because the balances are actually kind of difficult to grab out of the blockchain. I know it's funny, you wouldn't think that, but it's actually, I mean, it took them a week because it was really hard to do. And what the mini-me does is it actually kind of, it does take a little bit more gas, but it kind of tracks every transaction and adds. So the way tokens work on Ethereum is there's a balance array that just says there's addresses and there's balances. All mini-me does is add a block number there. So you can see, you know, the balance array change as blocks move, right? And so with that, you can click a button and say, well, at this block, I want to give everyone a new token. And anyone can click that button. So anyone can add a new feature to your dApp by adding a token. And this is kind of like crazy because people think, oh, but then they're creating new tokens or something like that. No, no, no. You got to get out of this token-centric model and remember that currencies are about communities. You know, it's about the humans that are holding your token and that are actually interacting with the software. Now, everyone it's not everyone, but a lot of people just want to forget about humans and get them out of the equation. It's like, that's silly. We're building stuff for us, right? You know, so if you give somebody a new token, they get to choose whether or not they want to use it. So let's say like some scammer comes out and gives everyone some scam coin. It doesn't matter. No one even has to know they have it. But if someone comes up with this cool feature that they want to add to your dApp, they can create their own little contract and make it interact with this token that they just sent everybody who had the old token. And so they can have this new feature in their dApp. It's a really powerful tool, and people are starting to recognize, I mean, Swarm City, with their hashtag features, they're just going to kill it. You know, I'm really excited. I love what they're doing over there because they're kind of doing I mean, to me, they're the new Slockit. You know, they're the new leaders in decentralizing the sharing economy, which is what got me really, which is one of the things I'm most excited about in blockchain tech, obviously.
Well, with a lot of people who aren't familiar with, you know, blockchain tech in general, and especially like the EVM and token tech, it's like your user experience isn't a whole lot different than what you have at the bank, because it is just accounts and balances, and you know, they can attach whatever info they want on that. Just this is like the next iteration of that, and it's not run by a bank. It's, you know, run by this distributed network of computers that, you know, no one person is in control. It's like everyone agrees what the current state of the list is, and that's what you got to get across. But like when you start going into crazier concepts of like, well, you can have this list, and then you can have like your other contracts linked to that list, and then you can have more contracts linked to that contract. You start to
I'm losing people. Good point.
You push the paradigm way out the wall, because I think we're in deep in this, and we understand potential, but people can barely understand what's capable right now, let alone what the potential is for the future. Like it's going to be hard to really pull them forward, I think.
No, you know what's funny is I used to be so much better at talking to normal people about this stuff, because I'm a technical guy, but I'm not a coder. And as I get deeper and deeper into the code, I get worse and worse at explaining it to like normal people. It's so bad, right? Like that was like, oh, I'm going to go to blockchain and use my talents of communication to explain things to new people. And now I'm just as bad as everyone else, man. But in the end, it's all going to be in the background. You know, it's like I'm talking about how the back end works, like how SQL servers work, you know, and no one's going to care. They're going to go to the website. They're going to see what their global token balance is. And then the cool thing is, if they go to that website and the people that run the website, because the website is still a centralized system, if they like a feature that some random user adds using the mini-me token, then they can integrate it to their website. And if they don't like that feature, but at the end, the permissionless user is not able to be censored, and he can make his own website, and they can go to that website and still use that feature. So that's
you can build your own front end on it and reference whatever data you want. Like that's the beauty of it. Like to make something truly permissionless is to talk smack about the creators, and then have that be on the blockchain and see if it gets erased or not. Like
Yeah.
Like when I look at it, was it Steven, and I asked him, like, if I had like some incriminating, evidence about you, if I publish that, would it be on your site? Well, like, we can block it on the site, but it will still be on the blockchain. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Who is this?
Steemit,
Steemit. Yeah.
Another cool project, and I think they've learned a lot of lessons with it, and they've definitely brought in new people to the space, which overall is important. As long as the net positive is there, which I still think there is a net positive for Steemit.
Yeah, I gotta say, I just want to talk. I guess it's a little smack, but Dan Laramere is a really interesting guy. Like he is a genius. He blew my mind with most of his writings in 2013. Like I read a lot about it, and he made BitShares, which is incredible technology. Like they have it down. They have their decentralized exchange and open ledger. They have their I think it's called Graphene or whatever. They're like level 3 blockchain that is probably the best, fastest blockchain tech out there. It's not as easy to work out with as Solidity and Ethereum in general, but like it's way faster, way stronger. Like it's incredible. Would scale way better than everything. And then
the user experience. Oh yeah, like I was totally upset to hear that, because it really validated a lot of his critics. When he left the Steemit project.
Yeah, and then he starts Steemit, which is killing it. Like mass adoption, like really just like allowing users to create content and get paid for it, like no one's ever really seen before in a decentralized way. And then he just bails again. It's like he comes in. I mean, there's two ways to look at it, and I'm going to go with the positive way. He comes in, builds magic, and says, "Hey guys, let's see what you can do with it."
Yeah.
Peace. And now he's did that with Steemit, which I don't know, like, Steemit had a really interesting inflation model, and it kind of had a pyramid scheme like built in. So
it had a DApp, and the DApp was like almost like a Ponzi scheme. It was a functioning Ponzi. I thought it was definitely innovative. It was confusing as hell, but when I wrapped my head around it, I'm like, okay, I understand it. And like I told his partner, like, geez, now I'm gonna forget the name. The other guy. There's Dan and shit. Sorry.
Stan? I don't know. I think I think that's his brother.
Ned. So I told Ned, I'm like, you really gotta, do something different about this inflation model, because it's not sustainable. Like, yeah, it's great when the network's growing at an exponential rate like it was, but when it starts leveling off again, and like, you're not, getting massive amounts of new people coming in, it's just not sustainable. And that's really what like our project and what our community, the Blocktalk community, has really kind of noticed with altcoins, is that the best projects and developers are the ones who consider all the aspects of it. So politics, technology, and economics, but then also have the staying power to only maintain one project. Because if you're just, creating a blockchain, like, there you go, and then creating another one, there you go, and then like you're going to the next one, eventually like you have no community left, because everyone feels burned. Like they don't understand that you're going to stick around, so why should they?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a thing that is really sad in a way, because I'm a big fan of decentralized governance. I really believe that it could be the future one day, but right now, man, that is just not the case. I mean, the free market has proven so many times over and over again that a benevolent dictator is the best governance model out there. Like every company has a CEO, and that's just the way it is. And this is what's killing Bitcoin right now. If Satoshi came out of the woodwork and said, "I love SegWit," dude, that would be done. It would be done.
Yeah, conversation over.
Yeah, he just has to move one coin and and then move it to a miner or something, and then signal SegWit. Done. Like or signal unlimited. Like, I don't care. Like, just do one or the other, man.
Yeah, I think everyone just wants some decisiveness, because like we've gone past the point of stability that now it's stagnation.
Yeah, but almost every other blockchain has it. Dash has their Evan Duffield. Ethereum has Vitalik. I mean, every blockchain. I mean, Monero has Fluffy Pony.
Yeah.
So even the anonymous blockchains got it. So I don't know. I think that's the biggest problem with Bitcoin. As sad as that is, it doesn't have a central point of failure.
Yeah. No, and the community being able to make a decision is the hardest part. Like, look, one coin that I run right now, like we have a pretty good community that listens to us, but we understand we don't want it to always be that way. So like, we're going to build a governance system. We don't require it right now, but one day we will. So that's why we've moved to an EVM capable chain, because we understand how easy it is to build governance on it. Like, there hasn't been, a perfect working prototype yet, but there's definitely quite a few concepts that are very good potential. So like, that's why we want to be on the same boat with the EVM. So we've been chatting a bunch here, and I want to get the guys in the basement involved here too. I'm going to unmute them, and I'm sure I've ruffled a few feathers with my comments about maximalism, but we'll see. How you guys doing?
We're always picking on you.
Yeah, how you guys doing? What's going on?
Yeah, it's doing great down here.
That's good.
You definitely. Yeah, I have a few questions about your charity project, actually, if we can go into it.
Of course.
So it's mostly Solidity contracts that are like, my main problem with Ethereum has always been that as soon as you interface with the real world, the ability of the network to verify these contracts doesn't matter anymore. Like, as soon as you have to interface with the real world, there's that point of trust. And if there's that point of trust, then you might as well have that point of trust running the code. And then it would be a way more efficient system. So what are the points of trust in your charity system? And like, how do you get the real world information in order to have the system function?
I mean, the main thing is we're going to have this big chat group. And that is, of course, going to allow scammers to do their thing. But in 2015, almost $400 billion was donated to charity in the US alone, right? So I have a feeling, unfortunately, a lot of it was kind of misused and not very well spent. So what we want to do is not give anyone any money to do something. We want to give people money for having done something. So we're kind of taking it as a reward-based system, a result-based incentive structure. And that's what really, I hope, will allow for more accountability in the system than in the system today. But of course, there's going to be points of trust everywhere there's a human. That's just, you can't avoid that. Except for, of course, the donors. The donors, you don't have to trust them. They're just giving money. So that's easy. So that's one point of trust I don't have to worry about, right? So somebody gives some money, cool. Assuming they're not double spending, then we're good. And then and of course we'll connect it to the fiat world eventually. But then we have the liquid democracy people, the delegates, right? And it's really not democracy at all. It's delegated pledging, because at no point in our like base layer infrastructure do we want to have voting. Just no. There's no need for that. What?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I was.
So at no point do we need voting. Everyone should be in control of their own money at all times, because they're donating to their charities, right? And of course, if somebody like Christoph Jens wants to create Charity DAO, he could be a donor, and then that could be a second layer protocol, and you can have voting. But on the base layer, no voting. And so you're going to have your delegate, and yeah, you're going to need to trust your delegate. Yes, you have some oversight. Anytime he sends money to some project, you're going to get an email. You're going to have a connection to talk to the people who are using your money. That's kind of like something that has to be there. You have to be able to connect to the people that are using your money. But those people could be scammers, and they could be colluding with the delegate, with your delegate. So that's always going to be the case. You're sending your money. I mean, unless you hold your money to yourself and never share it, you're always kind of trusting somebody. But the nice thing is, when the delegate sends money and it gets locked in a smart contract until the person, the system we have now is there's basically a reviewer who is responsible for saying whether or not this project was done. So like the change maker is the person we're saying who's going to use the money to do good work. The change maker will say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what it looks like when it's done. And this is the person who's going to say it's done. And the delegate will look at that and be like, okay, that sounds good. I like this guy. He's a trustworthy source. I'm going to send money to that. It gets locked in. The guy does the thing. and the reviewer has a set amount of time to say that he didn't do it. And if the reviewer just doesn't do anything, then he gets the money after like 7 days or something. But so in long or short, the reviewer can say, no, that's not good enough. You said you were going to give 7 pigs. You only gave 6. What's up? Oh, well, 1 pig like died or something. It's like, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll divide this by, multiply it by 6/7, and I'm going to send the rest of this money back, and I'll give you for the 6 pigs, but not the, and there can be like unique situations, but in the end, the details of our system, when we start interacting with the agricultural charities, this is how it's going to be, definitely not set in stone. I want to beta test this with a bunch of Ethereum projects first, because in the end, I'm serious. Every time I see a call function, man, I freak out. I got PTS DAO, and I'm not ready to interact with normal people who are expecting money to go somewhere and then have it fail. So we need to audit our smart contracts like crazy. We need to really nail down our incentive structures, and I think it'll be more effective to do that with my Ether wallet, or some Blocktalk, for instance. Supporters of Blocktalk, if they want, you could create a milestone that says, hey, I'm going to interview Griff Green on this day, and assuming that I can get 5 Ether over here, because I'm kind of busy, so once 5 Ether gets sent to your contract, then cool, I'm setting this interview, and then once that interview happens, Griff Green maybe is the reviewer, and I'll say, oh yeah, I was there, click.
So it's a lot more like Patreon kind of, where you can give money, but only if a certain requirement is met. So the money can go part way, and then you can, when the goods meet part way, then you can actually have the actual exchange. It's kind of like when you have your shipping stuff, it has all those different steps of shipping, and your money will be the exact same in the reverse. And we lost the control for a sec here, but there they are. your money will be in reverse. So you'll have these 2 kind of points. And right now, the money side of it's really easy because it's a known point, and it's really easy to track. It doesn't go backwards at all. It only can kind of go in the same direction around.
Yeah.
But your goods are the hard side. This is something that I'm working really hard on too. Is how do you make goods a known point, and then have that be kind of go further and further. And I think the only way you can really do that is a good identity system. And this will allow you to really kind of map the analog world into the digital one. I do a lot of control systems, and we have a lot of sensors that are one-sided. They shoot a laser out, it comes back. Okay, that's perfect. But all the safety stuff is an emitter and a receiver. You have 2 known points. If those don't meet, then something's wrong. So how do you get these 2 known points is really the challenge I think you're going to have with any of these distributed systems. Your oracles are on one end, the blockchain ledger is on the other. Yeah.
And I mean, you can never make a foolproof system, not when humans are involved. It's just going to be impossible, so you just got to do the best you can. And I think with Giveth, we're going to be really flexible, and we're going to take a lot of input and see what people want to improve in our system. And I figure if I try to get a bunch of hackers who are contributing to open source tech a reason to actually work with our system, they'll probably just improve it for us, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and people have to realize it's there's no system that's idiot-proof, because what happens if someone just builds a better idiot
yeah.
and finds the flaws in it, right? And it's not always intentional, but sometimes someone sees a flaw in call functions, and then it's okay, somebody's got to idiot-proof this thing, or else I'm going to be the bigger idiot,
Yeah. Sorry, call functions, man.
Well, we got about 15 minutes left in this hour.
More questions.
Yeah, let's get decontrol back in here once more.
Yeah.
Okay, you're off mute. Any questions, guys?
Any questions in the room?
No. I kind of want to talk about.
I've got one.
Okay,
What's the thing you like the most about Ethereum?
The people, man. 100%. Like
But
I am constantly impressed and more impressed with all the people that are contributing to the open source network. Like everyone's just lovey-dovey.
Technology-wise.
Well, tech-wise, I like the fact that they're kind of like open to evolve. That they're not like, this is how it is and this is how it's always going to be. It's like, no, we got at least 2 or 3 more hard forks in us, okay? You know, like we're not saying that we have it right now. We know that this is an evolving system and we want to evolve with the rest of the world, not just say this is how it is and this is the best way to do it. It's not like necessarily a tech thing, but you know, it's the like philosophical approach.
It's pretty much a philosophy behind people cutting those things.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear that.
It's pretty much the philosophy behind the people coding Ethereum.
Yeah.
And how about you, the second guy?
What?
I want to hear the answer of the second guy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The host?
Yeah, that'd be me, I guess. Yeah, I like the people of Ethereum as well. Like honestly, like I've had shitty jobs before, and the only reason I stay is because the people are so great. So like there's great people in this, and I like the job that is Ethereum. I like the tech that is Ethereum. Like the EVM is great. My main criticism though is on that third piece, which is the money side of it. Like there is no good monetary policy set for Ethereum right now, and that's kind of what they really need to figure out right now, in addition to all the technology. And there's a lot of conversation, I guess, going on of what should be the monetary policy, because we're eventually going to be proof of stake. It's not really an answer that's going to last forever. Like there's got to be kind of something in the middle here. So maybe Griff, what's your opinion on like the monetary policy of Ethereum?
I like I said, I love the people, but at the same time, they're kind of, I'll say wussies. Right? Because they just don't, they went in and they're okay, and they're also very much like, especially Vitalik, like, I said this, it's going to be that way, right? And he said Ether is not a currency. Ether is fuel for a platform that will support many really cool things, including currencies. And so I have to say, like, I still think Ether is, you know, it's got a long way before it's going to start like crashing. But eventually, Ether is not the currency. Ether is the fuel, and its value is going to go up and down. But there's going to be really cool currencies built on it. And so their monetary policy, I promise you, well, we'll see, because now whales are involved and things can change. Like, it's an evolving thing. It's going to be hard for them to say Ether is not important anymore, right? They're gonna find reasons for it to be important, and they're gonna push those reasons. But in the end, like they're total, like especially the Vitalik crew, they're very open to just being like, Ether, who cares, you know? So it's pretty scary, man. I like, but at the same time, like there's too much money involved, and everyone has a lot of Ether, so they're not gonna shoot themselves in the foot and just destroy the currency. Yeah. I think that we will see some contention over these next big hard forks, and they're going to be about monetary policy and in the proof of stake mining situation. Like those are going to, I mean, there is no way to avoid a contentious hard fork when you have an evolving ecosystem. And because there's a million different ways for it to go. And it's just like the current hard fork. You know, Bitcoin Unlimited is right. Blockstream is right, and then 3 more people will come up with an idea, and those are also right. You know, extension blocks are a great solution. Why not? You know, so good luck.
Well, the analogy I keep painting is like Ethereum is like SpaceX if it had a trading stock. Like they have rocket fuel, and you know, if they lose a bunch of it in the DAO when it explodes, that's a kind of a shame. But you know, they made the decision like, let's, you know, turn back time, or let's do an alternate universe where it didn't blow up. We just never launched.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now this is the thing. Like they didn't do an alternate universe. In fact, the immutability was never it has never been challenged on the Ethereum blockchain. They just made a transaction that should not have been allowed without the all the hackers, because there were like 7 or 8 DAO hackers, by the way, people don't really know.
White hats, black hats, yeah.
White hat. There was only one group of white hat hackers, but there were at least 8 or 9 different black hat hackers that stole a little piece of the DAO, and all that money was taken from those in one transaction from those guys and sent to the withdraw contract. So you know, everyone always like says, oh, it was, they rewrote. You can't just like reverse transactions. There were never transactions reversed. There was a transaction that shouldn't have been allowed, that everyone independently decided to upgrade their client, you know, in a unanimous way, right? They upgraded, like a user activated soft fork, you could say, but it was a hard fork. Everyone upgraded and agreed that that transaction was awesome. They all consented. And anyone else who didn't consent, they're an ETC.
I guess, yeah, the analogy would be better of like the rocket was going to launch at some point in the near future, and like people had to all independently hit the button to say no. Like, yeah. So I think that's probably the best way of putting it. Like, and this is why I'm really a fan of Ethereum, where they understand, like, they built the engine, and like they have their own fuel, but it doesn't mean other fuel is not good for it too. Like, when we ported our community over and our monetary policy, like the value, we wanted to have a plan, like an economic plan. So we would kind of be like a viable option alongside in terms of like stable markets, I guess, or you know, have a monetary policy. That's really one of the things we strove to have when we upgraded, was to continue that forward, you know, because some community members are only in it for the money, and that's the shame of things, you know, like someone doesn't see the vision of the tech, they just see it as a speculative investment, like, and they don't want anyone screwing around with their rocket fuel. But like, what I would tell them is just like, if you don't like it, you can go back to Bitcoin, because that's running on whale oil.
Yeah. Wait. So tell me more about your community. So you guys have like do you have some sort of DAO setup? Like what is going on?
Not right now. Like right now, I think we're just a Slack of about 1,000 people. But like, okay, so
this
Bitcoin
is the decentral Slack.
No. So I have a Slack with we're called Ubic. I'm not gonna try and hype it too much because I like to be unbiased on my show. But
oh, come on, hype it for me, man. I want it.
Okay, so if you know, Bitcoin started as an email list, Ubic started as a chat room, IRC chat called Coin Markets. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Coin Markets back in like 2013, 2014, and lots of people went there. Like it was one of kind of like the origin points of a lot of information about what was going on in altcoins. It was kind of like when the community was small enough, there was, you know, one chat. So our main developer, our Vitalik, if you will, Julian could have launched a coin at any point, but he really took a long time to kind of understand what the community wanted and what was necessary to build a viable blockchain that would be self-sustaining. So he launched a script coin. You know, we did fair launch proof of work. Everyone had a fair chance to kind of get involved with it. I wasn't even in the chat at the time. I was just showing up at that time, and I found out about it on Twitter, but I mined it.
Cool.
And yeah, so it was very much a community coin, and it wasn't meant to be traded. Like, they actually tried to keep it off exchanges for as long as possible. And over time, like, we tried to do lots of projects. Like we have these crypto community cards, which are like basically like
cool.
trading cards of like known people in the space, like the Charlie Shrem one.
Oh yeah, oh, that's a good one.
Crypto Cobain, Mark Karpelis, you know.
Oh yeah, the Joker.
Andreas, if anyone wants it, you know.
I want it.
Oh yeah. So these are our limited run of physical cards. We're probably going to use a Mini-Me token on our EVM to do some digital ones. Yeah, I think so. We're playing around with it right now, and it's very cool. So like, and it's so much easier to do on the EVM. So like before, we could only do like a tip bot, because like that's really all like Bitcoin code is good for, is like doing one variable. And like we tried doing a thing like identity, like who is, and it ended up being kind of like it was a mess. Let's put it that way. It wasn't working. I organized some meetings and we're like, guys, what should we do? You know, and I was actually talking about like Doge is planning on integrating with Ethereum. We should plan to do that too.
Yeah.
So that was the conversation we had, and we eventually said like, well, let's, you know, adapt the Ethereum code base. Let's make some improvements on it, because like we have a lot of skilled programmers in our community. So we kind of adapted the Ethereum code base to run at a smaller scale more effectively, because there were a lot of projects that just took the standard Ethereum code
Yeah.
And when you try and run it too low, it's really easy to take over. So we launched on January 28th with our new code base, and yeah, it's going great. We got lots of new people joining the Slack. We got a lot of projects that are showing up just randomly, like because people see that it's still a fair launch supply. Like people want to build an application because they know that they had an equal chance at this, just like everyone else did.
Oh, so that's why you didn't want to promote it, because you're still trying to be a whale. You're still trying to like get all the good action.
Well, I don't want speculative investors. I want like cool developers. I want people who want to build cool shit. That's what the whole community is about. We build cool shit, and that's what Blocktalk was kind of born out of. That's what a lot of these 12 viewers are. Is people who were formerly part of Jumbucks and are now part of Ubic. Ubic is what we are now, and we got some cool tech coming for you guys. I'm hoping to have like the physical like hardware that we're releasing to show you sometime soon. But I'll tell you way more about it at Burning Man. I'm sure we'll have a lot of cool stuff there. I'm going to try and get one of the devs to come too. So maybe tell me a little more about Burning Man. And is it going to be Camp Doge or?
Well, we're working with Gary. I think you know Gary, who led Camp Dogecoin the other in 2013. No, 2014 maybe. I can't remember when. Yeah, it was 2014. He did Camp Dogecoin, and so he's got lots of good swag. And he did a decentralized was DDP, like a decentralized dance party. So I actually just got him involved. I just kind of, I've been a burner for 6 years. Like I don't actually own anything besides a U-Haul, a geodesic dome, and a trailer, so I can bring a bunch of stuff to Burning Man. Like that's all I own in this world, and like tech, laptops and stuff. So and digital currencies.
Yeah.
And so I got all these new Ether friends that are in Europe, and they've never been to the burn. I'm like, guys, you gotta come, So I just kind of got this like nice little Ether crew, and then it started getting bigger and bigger. And then I talked to Gary, and now I got you involved. It's starting to turn into, I think we're gonna call it Camp Decentral, and we're just going to have a nice little place for people to come learn about cryptocurrencies, and we'll have a lot of talks. I'm hoping to get like somebody to record them all, and so we can get them on YouTube when we get back. I might even be able to live stream. We'll see. I did a live stream. I did a live stream in 2012, I think. There was a festival going on in Ecuador that a lot of friends at called Water Woman. And then I had my dome was like a teleportation device. So you could go into my dome and you were live streamed into Ecuador, this place, Vilcabamba, Ecuador. And they were live streamed into Burning Man. And so you could have like a little dance party, So it's definitely not impossible, but it's not worth the effort. I just want to enjoy the burn. So
yeah, I'm going to bring some cameras along. I probably won't try and live stream anything, but I'm renting an RV. So maybe we'll do some interviews using that. I'd love to get some block talks live from the burn there, and so I'll plan to have that ready with my RV and part of the camp. Maybe we'll do it in the camp as well. It'll be good. I like it.
Yeah, and we're teamed up with a really good crew of like acro yoga, contact dance, and heart-centered communication. Like really chill people. With we have a steam bath. I mean, we have like the infrastructure on lockdown. It's going to be really good.
I'm loving the sounds of it already. My only suggestion for you, and it's basically just the name, and we kind of joked about it the first time I had you on the show, is we need instead of Camp Doge, we'll be Camp Douge.
Camp Douge, oh God, dude. I don't know if that's a good idea. But one day, dude, I'm going to make Burning Man a DAO, 100%. Nice. It needs to be a DAO. Like the whole like foundation stuff that they have going on is so lame. They got to get, and once we'll DAOify them eventually.
Now, I'm not going to hold you to a time constraint, but you do promise that you're going to try and do that. I get that from you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're at the end of the hour here. Maybe I'll get Control in here for any final questions. And we'll also do our little tradition of predicting the Bitcoin price in the next week.
I hope we can start predicting the Ether price, too. Come on, it's way more exciting.
I know it is exciting, but at the same time, like I feel like you could be convicted of insider trading, and I don't want to have that. Nobody owns Bitcoin, right?
No, it's true.
So maybe I'll start off with you, Griff. What do you think the price of Bitcoin is going to be next week?
I think actually, even though I'm pretty skeptical on Bitcoin, I think that there's a huge influx from the Muggle world, as I call it, right? Coming into the crypto world. Yeah, the meat space. They're jiving in, and even if the Bitcoin dominance is crashing, I think Bitcoin's going to has a little bit more bold to go. So I'm going to go with 1263.
1263. I love it. Okay. I want to see us continue this little range that we got here between 900 and 1300. So I'm going to say 1100. Just right smack dab in the middle. Oof. We'll see. There could be lots of turbulence in the world, and you know what? Bitcoin as crappy of a government as it is, it's still a better government than most.
Yeah.
They still produce the same amount of currency every day, so they got that going for them. Okay, decontrol. Taylor, I want to hear, what do you think the price of Bitcoin is going to be in a week's time?
Let's go with 1200.
1200. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, $1,200.
You want 1200 as well?
Yeah.
You're not gonna go $1 below or $1 above?
Yeah,
1201.
Level 1. Okay.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
All right. Chelsea, I hear you're there too. You got a guess?
I'm gonna go 1050.
Oh!
I sold all my Bitcoins. I want it to fail.
You got to
That's
auto.
just me, though. That's just me, sir.
You got to auto.
I'm sure you still did better. It's not like you went to fiat, right? You went into some altcoin that exploded, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. You gotta diversify your bonds. You gotta be spread your seeds all around. The crypto community will grow as a whole. All right. Any other guesses there?
We got It's Me Boss Lady is saying 1212.
Ooh, I'll put Boss Lady in. 1212. She's helping organize Decred interview. So Boss Lady.
Oh, nice. Jeez, she's all over the place.
Yeah, she is talking up a storm there with the Church of Nothing.
Who I grabbed?
All right, well,
I grabbed him from the crypto chat that happened earlier today. I don't know. He's a competitor, but he's awesome. He has like a daily Ethereum chat or videos that he does, and he did a live stream. And Church of Not Nothing was there, so I told him about this, and he actually showed up.
That's all right. I don't view anyone who does YouTube chats as a competitor. I think overall the dialogue is good. It's healthy. It kind of tells us all that there's more going on here. It's not just words on a screen. There's actual people and voices behind it.
Yeah. Excuse me. Church of Not Nothing. I got it. Oh, God. Close.
Oh, man. Okay. So this has been a great chat, Griff. I hope we can catch up again soon. Maybe even before Burning Man, we'll get kind of maybe an organizational one going to get anyone who wants to buy last-minute tickets to come and check out our camp.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to keep trying to get Bill and Richie from Bittrex to come. Maybe I'll even get.
I invited them myself, man. I'm in Seattle right now, and I was hoping to meet up with them, but I couldn't make it happen.
They are busy launching the version 2 of their site. It will be out any day now. And,
no way!
I will be seeing Bill before coming to Burning Man. He doesn't not want to go, but he would rather just go to a couple clubs in Vegas. So we're gonna have a couple party nights in Vegas before we come out to Burning Man. Yeah. We'll see. Maybe I can recruit some more people in my RV, and we'll come out in a big crew.
Yeah, I think you said MMA fighters and strippers, right? That's
I said MMA fighters and ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night. Oh, yes.
But yes, there will be many fun people coming, and I will try and bring more.
Yeah, and by the way, Polo just kicked everyone out of Washington State off their website. And so all of my friends are like, dude, what do I do? I'm like, Bittrex, dude. It's way better anyway. Polo is an exit scam waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, I see the writings on the wall for Polo, and if they're not willing to put in the legal work required to maintain in any of these places, then they're probably not putting the work in to maintain long term.
Dude, super sketch. If anyone has their money on Polo, man, get it off. Like, please. Like, it's scary out there.
Yeah, max out those daily withdrawals. Get your money out.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
All right, so this has been great, Griff. Once again, part 3. You know, the end of the trilogy, but I'm sure we'll have another saga again soon. Right?
Yeah, I need some prequels. Can we go back
Yes.
before the DAO happened, man? That would be really cool.
We'll have some more chats on the sharing economy, and it will be good. I look forward to it and seeing how it can apply to charities and agriculture. And I'll share you some of my concepts and ideas too. We'll get you in my community as well.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, send me an invite, please.
Sounds great. All right. So everyone tuning in at home, everyone in the basement in Vancouver, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks, Decentral.
Yep. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Send your favorite devs to be interviewed or come join a chat. And we'll see you in the next 1,000 blocks.